Hi, I'm Beth Smith, creator of the Feast of Ideas Homeschool Curriculum. I am a piano teacher, music educator, and homeschool mom, and I created the Feast of Ideas to be based off of the lives of the composers, and they touch every other aspect of life, so science, art, literature, and history. I love using music, food, and books in my homeschool to teach about the lives of the composers, to teach about music, to help students develop a love and a curiosity and a wonder about history and music and beauty and truth. So I want to share with you some of my favorite books that I use for music. So these are 8 book recommendations, and they cover a wide variety of bases, from just stories that are inspiring about music to ways to interact with music, and then where music comes from. So let's start with interacting with music. This is called Listen to the Birds, An Introduction to Classical Music by Anna Gerard. So in this book, they play different song selections that are inspired by or about birds. And they have the CD, excuse me, I have the CD in a CD case because we've listened to that. Dance of the Firebird by Stravinsky, Toy Symphony by Mozart, and they give a listening guide in the end. So if you want a simple lesson, you could divide it into 15, 20 different songs about that involve classical music from a wide variety of time periods. And birds, great way to tie in science and music together. And there you go, simple a book. So the second one, if you want to tie music with art, Can You Hear It? So this ties music with different pieces of art. So they explain about the different types of instruments, and then they will give a small listening guide. Can you hear the busy bumblebee flying from flower to flower? So they recommend a piece of music to listen to while you look at this piece of art. So they have the track number here at the top. So let me see if I can find. This one is one of my favorites. It involves Copland, or yes, it's Gershwin, excuse me, An American in Paris. And so you can hear in American in Paris the cars honking. And so this is such a great picture to pair with that. So really, really excellent book to tie music and art. Can You Hear It? And it's put out by the Metropolitan Museum of Art. So here are 3 books that I like to either use with my piano students or my homeschool that are about music inspiration, and they're usually more narrative based. The Song of Middle C is not based on any true story. It's just the story of a little girl who's very nervous for her recital, but how she overcomes those fears and how she's creative and improvises on the piano. Song of Middle C by Allison McGee. My one daughter liked it so much, she memorized the book and can now retell it on her own. Another story, The Boy Who Said Wow. This is actually based on a true story. You can find the YouTube clip of this event happening where a nonverbal boy goes to the symphony with his grandfather and is so moved by the music. At the end, when the music stopped, but before the applause happens, he utters the word, wow. And the whole auditorium hears it and just loves and falls in love with it. And they wrote this book. Todd Boss wrote this book. It is excellent. It will make you cry. It is wonderful. Read this. Watch the YouTube video. My other daughter liked the story so much, she memorized this book. Now, this one is one of my personal favorite books of all time, Because by Mo Willems. I love this book. This is all about how we have impact on one another, how one event can lead to another, which I also like for history, teaching in history as well. But one little girl gets to go to the symphony because her uncle, who was supposed to go, got a cold, and how she got to go and was transfixed and inspired to go on and become a composer and a conductor herself, and how the whole story comes full circle. I love this book so much. And Mo Willems, you might recognize his name. He is the author of Piggy and Gerald and the Don't Let the Pigeons Drive the Bus. There's also a fun, the girl in the story ends up writing a song called The Cold, and they hired a composer, Hilary Purrington, to write a song for the cold, and I got to interview her, and I have a lesson all on this modern day living composer, which is really cool. So if you want to check that out, I'll leave that in the description, because I absolutely love this book. Highly recommend it. Now there's 3 more books about the instruments and where music comes from. Now there's Before Music. This is a very big, it's a large book, you can tell, by Annette Pay Pimentel. And so if you've never thought about the history of music, music has been around for a long time, but written music has only been around since the 1100s. And so what were different ways that we made music, different instruments around the world? How do found objects make music? Gourds make music, famous bells from around the world, all of that kind of stuff. How does wood make sound? So again, this might be nice to pair with science. You could also pair it with geography as well. But Before Music, excellent, excellent book. So before there was written music, there was still instruments and everything, but where did written music come from? I love this book. It's called Do Re Mi, If You Can Read Music, thank Guido de Arezzo. This is about the creation of the written music system, and the system that finally took off and we still use to this day, where there are lines and spaces, and the notes represent the intervals on those lines and spaces. It tells a story of where the solfege syllables come from this Italian monk, Guido de Arezzo. Love this story. And you'll get a nice history pairing Before Music with Guido de Arezzo's Do Re Mi. And so you get a neat, wide view of where music comes from. And then moving on to the last book, which is about my favorite instrument and the creation of my favorite instrument, the piano, is Bartolomeo Cristofori and the Invention of the Piano, The Music of Life by Elizabeth Rush. This is about where the piano came from. Before the piano, we had harpsichords and we had clavichords. Harpsichords could only play loud, clavichords could only play quietly, and Bartolomeo Cristofori wanted to create an instrument that could do both loud, forte, and quiet piano. So when he did end up creating it, he called it a piano forte, and we just now call it the piano. But its full name is actually pianoforte because it can be played both loud and quiet. And this book by Elizabeth Rush is a great, great book about the history and the creation of the piano. So those are my book recommendations for music. I have many more about composers, and I'll be posting those series later, but I hope you enjoyed my series of 8 books that you should have for music in your homeschool, or if you're not homeschooling, just to read to your children. I think they're excellent books. Please feel free to follow me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and my website, which has many resources, including my curriculum, printables, lesson plans, fun composer-related gifts and activities, games, at BethSmithStudio.com. So please join me, follow me, like this video, and yep, stay tuned for more book reviews. Bye.